Now, what happens when the CBO gives you less than favorable scoring on your policies? Well, if you're a Republican, you try to get rid of it. Because, of course. That's exactly what House Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows is trying to do. According to The Hill, Meadows wants to eliminate 89 positions from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office staff and require the office to, instead of doing its own research, by the way, which is what it does right now, in order to score a policy, they go internally and they go and they crunch the numbers, they run and see what's going to happen from a certain policy, who it's going to benefit, who it's going to hurt, and what's going to happen. And then they release those numbers publicly. Well, the Republicans under Mark Meadows, his proposal basically is like, no, let's get rid of the internal team and let's just have them source all the information from our think tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. He says they ought to be aggregators. There are plenty of think tanks out there, according to a statement at a National Press Club event. Yes, think tanks. Think tanks that have, no possible ulterior motive due to their sources of funding. Like, I don't know, all these different, take Heritage Foundation, which happens to be funded by the Koch brothers. They would be totally impartial when it comes to a score on Obamacare, right? Of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't. In an amendment to the budget deal, Meadows said they would cut $15 million of funding in CBO staff members responsible for estimating the budgetary costs of bills in Congress and have them carry out such duties solely by facilitating and assimilating scoring data compiled by the Heritage Foundation, the American Enterprise Institute. But to be fair, they included two left-wing think tanks, the Brookings Institution and the Urban Institute, which I think are more centrist establishment think tanks that lean a little bit to the left. Now, the proposal follows after a series of CBO reports predicted that tens of millions of people would become uninsured under various Republican plans. So they saw that and were like, we don't like that score. We're just going to get rid of you. We're not going to change our policies so that they're better. No, our policies will still suck. We're just getting rid of the scores. We don't like the score. Let's get rid of the scoreboard. That's amazing, man. This guy's like a Scooby-Doo villain. We would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you goddamn CBO people.
Right. I mean, yeah. And these think tanks, and there's a lot of them, the Heritage, the Acton Institute, they exist solely to do the mental gymnastics necessary to justify these horrific policies. I mean, that's what they're around for.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're ignoring this CBO score. I mean, I've said it. This whole proposal that the right has, I mean, the CBO score should just be a Mr. Yuck sticker with the word "don't" above it in all caps. Because, I mean, this policy is terrible. It's stripped. It's an anti-healthcare bill. It's not a healthcare bill. It's an anti-healthcare bill. So how can you in any way justify it? Well, you justify it by, appealing to the small elite group of Americans that get a tax break from this thing. And you justify it through think tank propaganda, which is what this is. It is by the book, dictionary definition propaganda.
And that's the people that they want doing the scoring. So they put out propaganda now. Just wait until they actually have control over the CBO. Well, the CBO number says that we'll have a net billion jobs from this healthcare bill that gives giant tax cuts for the rich. Hey, that's what the CBO says. What are you going to do? You're going to listen to math, or are you going to listen to the CBO? Who's going to run the numbers if we don't have something that's nonpartisan? So, and that's the big problem with this. And again, this is admitting that, yeah, we can't really do better on policy grounds, so we're just going to, eliminate this government agency or gut it, and then leave the numbers to our crony friends that are going to give us all positive scores, like on our tax cut bill that's coming up, right? They want to cut taxes massively for the rich, for the donors, the same donors that donate to the think tanks. And that's who they want controlling scoring that tax cut. And of course, they're going to say all sorts of nice stuff like, oh, it's going to save the average American family lots and lots of money. When in actuality, the latest Trump tax plan will save the average American family $40. And the average wealthy family, like somewhere right $931,000 a year. So that's a big difference. So this is the kind of thing that they're trying to do, and of course we should not be surprised by this. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.